Joining me back from his surgery is our Thursday regular guest, Nationals MP, Barnaby Joyce, the former Deputy Prime Minister. Barnaby, great to see you. Look, first of all, how are you travelling? Are you okay?
Yeah, look, to all your viewers, thank you very much for your kind support. I had my prostate removed, and after it was removed, they did the histology on it. They found that there was a clear partition between the cancerous growth and the edge of my prostate. That's very good. Otherwise, it metastasizes, as you've seen with former President Biden, and goes into your bones. So that's an overwhelmingly good prognosis, and that's what I expected at the start. I say to all your male listeners and to all the ladies who hold men or men dear and close in their heart, if they're over the age of 40, get a PSA test. Make sure they have a PSA test. I say to the doctors watching this, go through your patient list, make sure the guys have had a PSA test. And I say once more, and I've said it numerous times, thank you to my local GP who insisted I get a PSA test. In fact, it was on speakerphone, and when my staffers in the car heard it, heard my doctor berating me saying, get a PSA test, and my staffer saying, you clown, why don't you do this, and booking me immediately in for one. If that hadn't happened, in 2 years' time, we'd have a very sad conversation.
Well, I'm so glad to your staffer and to your doctor, and that you did relent and do that. The PSA test, by the way, people, you just need to go and get blood, go to your GP, get a blood sample tested. That's it. Barnaby, this truce today, did Susan Lee give in, or did your leader David Littleproud go wobbly after all the media criticism?
Who cares? What we need is an effective coalition to make sure that we have a cogent and efficacious capacity as an opposition to hold the Labor government to account. We all have concerns about net zero, don't we? Oh, I do. What does it cost? No one has actually told us. What is the effects? No one's actually told us. The fact that the majority of the globe and the majority of global economy is not part of us, where's that debate? That needs to be brought forward by a very virulent but cogent opposition, and we need to be able to form that. We have the fact that they've cracked the superannuation egg with unrealised capital gains, something you've never made, money you've never made, and apparently they're going to tax you for it, which will be incredibly difficult. It will be disastrous for so many family farms that are held in superannuation funds. If you have a $10 million family farm, that's not unusual these days. You have no intention of selling it. You've probably got an 18% capital gain you've been having the last few years. So you got a $1.8 million capital gain at 30%, 3.8 was at 33, that's 24. So $540,000 you'd have to pay to Jim Chalmers in a year. This, these are the things.
Can I bring you back to what really is the news this week, though? And that is this divorce that seems to have lasted 2 days. The Liberals now suggesting they think they can live with the policy to at least drop the ban on nuclear power, which is what you demanded. But here's the thing, Barnaby. Nationals like you and Matt Canavan actually wanted more. I know it's not part of the 4 demands to the Liberals, but you wanted an end to the net zero target. Has David Littleproud, your leader, actually demanded enough from the Liberals?
Well, I suppose we have to have that discussion in the Nats party room, and to be quite frank, to have that discussion, seeing all policies go back to the drawing board in the Liberal Party room. I don't want to go to war with the Liberal Party. I don't want to go to war with anyone, actually. I want to have a political debate with the Labor Party, not with the Liberal Party. And so I've been of the mind to try and park this internecine issue and move on to the one that really matters, which is holding a government to account. That is for all my sins where my endeavours are focused.
Well, Peacemaker Barnaby, a good role for you, a different role.
Logically.
Did David Littleproud then push this too hard, too fast? Did it actually need to come to this walkout?
Well, look, I'm not going to have a retrospective on that, Andrew. I'm going to have a prospective on.
You could have defended him.
Well, look, I'm glad that I believe that we are getting to a sensible outcome, I hope. I think that it's imperative, if we have any prospect whatsoever in a 2028 election, that we arrive there as a united front. And, I don't know what role I'll be playing in that, but that's what I think is good for our nation. I think the Australian people deserve a competent government and a cogent and inquisitive and cerebral opposition, and with their best players playing.
Barnaby Joyce, all that's true. I just note for the viewers, of course, that I gave you a couple of opportunities to say that David Littleproud did not go too far and too fast in putting the demands to the Liberals. You didn't take that, but who knows?
You might say that I could not
maybe the painkillers can be to blame. Thank you so much for your time.